don't wanna talk.
Still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Then I'm still gon' stunt. Diamonds look like they glowing. 50 stacks all singles, I make it look like it's snowing. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them. Treat them like jack boys, catch them slipping and slam them.
Hopefully y'all can. Hold on a second. Hopefully y'all can hear me. See, this is what happens when your wife rearranges your room. So, this is We-On-Loc Nation. What's going on, family? It's not this type of night tonight. I'm not gonna yell, rant, scream, or cuss. I'm trying not to anyway. Of course, this is We-On-Loc Nation, Loc Nation all around the world. Thank you for joining us tonight as we're going to do what I say that we were going to do, and that is do a couple of reviews of Mr. Johnson, aka Ifatunde. Go ahead and give this work. Now, I heard Lennon today, and I talked to a partner of mine. And he kind of influenced me on certain things. And D. Durrell is the closest, the closest friend that I could ever have, and he kind of influenced me that no matter what, Umar does, no matter what Umar says, if he goes to the bathroom, he's gonna complain about going to the bathroom. If he gets up to get a drink of water, it's always something. The dude is weird, and if people ain't gonna catch that, then it's no use. People are sick just like he is. People are real sick in the head, and Diderot influenced me that this is his money maker, and so he's gonna make money regardless if anybody likes it or not. This is his money maker. Let him make his coin. But pretty soon, even if the school opens, it's going to be the same old nonsense, and he's going to continue on and continue on. And so I had talk with Durrell this morning, and he just basically said that just do your thing. You know what I mean? Just it's not worth it at this point, because like I said, he's gonna keep doing what he's gonna keep doing and just act goofy and just keep running off at the mouth. He's gonna get caught one of these days. He's gonna get caught. Your first mistake was giving advice from Diderot. I didn't know you were such a hater, Craig. I didn't know you were such a hater of Diderot. I did not know that. Don't let him hear. Don't let him catch you saying that. I ain't in that beef. I ain't in that beef at all. But needless to say, and I'm not the type of person that keeps grudges or anything. I know when to let shit go, because I know the inevitable. So this is inevitable unless Umar himself comes out and says enough is enough. I'm suing your ass, and I'm suing your ass for defamation of character and slander. That would be mainly up to him. I guess at that moment, I was triggered at a couple of things that were unnecessary, that was just totally unnecessarily that he said, that came out of his mouth. The only thing that I can prove is through the videos, and that would be mainly up to the master himself. That would be mainly up to the master himself. I ain't got nothing to do with it. If he goes on and one day decides to get his lawyer and he decides to incriminate this fool, then that'll be on him. And I will be so happy once his channel just disintegrates. And he will have nothing else to do but to try and fight back. He already said at some point that he's going to take some YouTubers to civil court. I was like, for what? For what? I mean, you already got pissed on by Corey Holcomb. You got pissed on by Corey Holcomb. You know you ain't gonna come after Tariq Nasheed, so you smartened up. I admit you smartened up a little bit. You had smartened up and you said, hey, Let's go after Umar. Let's get some coins and do Umar. Let's do a little bit of complaining. Let's do a little bit of here, a little bit of there. And it works for him. It mainly works for him. Now, when he gets tired, here's the thing. I just want to know, how does he have time to do all this with little to no income and 5 kids? Remember, we caught this Negro in the park. Let me not do that. Let me not do that. He was in the park talking shit. Shouts out to Corey Holcomb. Shouts out to Corey Holcomb. And shouts out to Claudia. Shouts out to Claudia. Without further ado, let's just get into this thing with Dr. Umar. I think he's on with some new crew. Sky. I'll let them speak. Fair use.
Push out movement is extremely intense.
Right.
And it's fueling the violence, because what happens is, and this is almost true anywhere.
Right.
What happens is, if we belong to 2 separate gangs,
right,
but we 20 blocks apart,
right,
we don't run into each other unless we got to.
Right.
But with the gentrification, they're buying up all the property, which is pushing us closer together.
Oh.
So before we was 20 blocks apart, now we 2 blocks apart. And so if you look at it, since the rise of gentrification, that started really with President George W. Bush.
Okay.
Year 2000, he kind of decided that they was going to take back the inner cities, right? If you look at it, the violence intensified since then, because you're forcing groups who don't like each other to coexist in the same space and time, because you buying up all the property that they can no longer afford to live in, which is pushing them to live closer together. That's a big reason.
Do you think that's some more the strategic ways for?
Oh, wow. She passed away, huh? You talking about big girl, right? Big black woman who was allegedly beefing with Lennon a little bit. I hope not, sir. If damn. May she rest in power.
The powers that be to make us destroy each other more, or was it more solely based off of financial and like getting in the city back?
It's both, because I would argue that racism and capitalism work together, right? Racism is the father, capitalism is the mother. So if I have to do something to destabilize you, I'm going to make sure I get paid by doing it. If you look at every problem we have, there's a serious financial benefit to it. Take special education, right? The systemic and legalized miseducation of black children. But it's a $1 billion industry. Mass incarceration. I'm destroying the black family. It's $1 billion industry.
Right.
You can't show me any aspect of racism that doesn't have a serious financial benefit to it. So racism and capitalism, they cooperate. Wherever you see one, you always see the other. In other words, I can't think of a single problem we've ever been through that wasn't exploited for personal gain. Look at slavery itself. We need them to work, but we're going to get paid as well. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So whether it's racism, it's capitalism. The problem though, and this is where we, who are Pan-African nationalists, we take issue with the Pan-African socialists, because the difference between the nationalists and the socialists is the socialists will say capitalism invented racism. If we crush capitalism, racism disappears.
Does it?
We say nonsense, because you could go to any communist country in the world and they hate black folks just as much as the capitalists, right? I was in China, just as racist as
they
Europe.
Can't stand.
You understand? And they completely communist, right?
Communist.
So what we say is racism invented capitalism. Racism created the economic system. The economic system did not create racism. In other words, you can change American capitalism to American communism tomorrow, and you will still have white supremacy.
Right.
You see? So racism and capitalism, they cooperate, but you got to destroy the racism in order to get rid of the capitalism. You can't get rid of the branches unless you extinguish the root.
No, that's a fact.
The root is the racism.
No, I completely agree. And what I can relate to that is people always ask me about, I got homies that go play basketball in China, but they go to the part where it's more like where the tourists go. I went to where it was communist. Like I went to Beijing.
Okay,
I had a terrible experience.
Yeah,
right. Not terrible, but just the way that people was treating me. Not that I didn't get disrespected or touched, but it was just the way, the lack of customer service. No, like drivers didn't care about. Asking them, yo, can you turn on the heat?
Yeah,
they was like, no, the ride's right here. They were telling me notice things when I'd never seen no shit like that.
Yeah, and it's places you can't go if you black too. Like when I was there, I went there to speak. The African community brought me, and there was certain clubs we couldn't go to. They said no black folks. There's certain places you can't live, no black folks. They've never had a civil rights movement,
right?
They didn't enslave us and bring us there, so they never had to go through that entire process of how do you fit these people in.
Yeah, that shit.
It's just you know, we just tolerate them as we do.
Ain't nobody fighting. I ain't got to fight nobody unless I'm being threatened. Unless you are here in my city and you call me out, that's different. But on the internet, no, of course not. As a matter of fact, that Negro is still in his own white comfort zone. He's still in his own white comfort zone. So I am not worried.
And the sad thing about it is in China, when your visa expires, they literally hunt you down and deport you. Like if you visit the UK, well, you don't need a visa for a UK. Right. But if you go to a country where you need a visa, if your visa expires, they're really not looking for you. Right. If they do, they may come after you a few months later. In China, if you black, they come in and look for you the day after your expiration date.
I did not see that.
They round you up like the military and get you out. Yeah. Oh man. And while I was there, I heard. Sorry to cut you off. I heard that if you a black man and you get a Chinese woman pregnant, I was told this in China about black men. You better marry her.
Word.
If you do not marry her, you can come up missing. A lot of you not. I'm at dinner and a brother is showing me pictures of brothers who got Chinese women pregnant, and they either disappeared or they got deported back to America. They wasn't allowed to live there no more.
I'm trying to think of that basketball player that got in trouble by messing with some Chinese girl. I think he said something inappropriate or something, but he was here overseas playing basketball. Who was that guy?
Yeah, they like he came up there. They found him in the river. He got sent back to America. Yeah, you are not coming there.
Wow.
Getting them pregnant and thinking you're going to turn the Chinese woman into a baby mama.
And then you got the one broad from the WNBA can't stop getting on the weed. And she got incriminated, prosecuted, and thrown in jail for months. Brittany Griner got thrown in jail for months, and gonna exchange Brittany Griner for, who did they exchange her for? Another criminal or some shit like that. I can't do my sister like that.
Are you going to marry her?
They ain't playing that shit.
Or you going to be dead or deported?
Right.
Damn. Yeah.
Damn. That's insane.
And they showed me pictures of brothers. They said, Doc, look, he did. All them got babies by Chinese.
I really believe in it's not like, you know, like if you experience some racist shit in America, you like, well, where's the manager? You can pull out your phone and you know what I mean, cause a riot on social media. You can't play that shit out there because you can't even be on social media out there.
Right. They have their own.
Yeah. You can't be on there and I'm gonna put it on Facebook and think you're gonna win.
In order for me to go on Facebook, Instagram, I had to get a VPN. I had to bust through. And then when they figure that one out, you got to get another one. Yeah. But I appreciate what they do though, because they make sure that everything we do in this country
in-house
is for the promotion of Chinese culture and power, even the children.
Yeah.
Like they just passed the law where Children can only be on the internet 3 hours a week, I think it is. China just passed the law. People say that's cruel. No, it's not. Because if you about the
3 hours a day, you can only be on the internet for 3 hours a day.
Expansion of Chinese empire
Should be minimized,
which I don't support because part of that includes colonizing Africa, right? So obviously I push back against the Chinese empire idea. But if that's what you're about, you need to.
I don't mind that at all, because let me put it to you this way: AI is out of this world right now, good and bad, but mostly for the bad. It's just out of control already. I mean, you got to look at the state of where America is in right now, what the world is in right now. If you don't believe in the biblical scriptures, if you don't think it's inspirational, I suggest you read Revelations. Part of Revelations and Exodus. Revelations, Acts, and Exodus. Revelations, Acts, and Exodus.
Children to be about that.
Right.
They can't be on social media all day long.
Right.
What America does is America says, listen, we're going to let the kids do what they want, but we just going to pick and choose the best ones we need to further our empire. China is saying we're not just taking the cream of the crop. Every Chinese child is going to be about the maintenance of the empire. You see what I'm saying? America will just pick the best. China says, nah. I don't care if they disabled, intellectually dysfunctional. Right. They still gonna be about the maintenance of the empire. So they don't leave no stone unturned.
I was gonna say, in regards to gentrification, can you define?
I'm gonna review your girl in a minute.
On gentrification, because I feel like there's a misconception between the communities of white folks and black folks, in the sense that I feel like when white folks reference gentrification, they're often talking about property being built up and made nicer, and you have to improve things.
Urban renewal.
Right. And then naturally that's going to raise the taxes in the area. And of course, they don't often talk about who's being disenfranchised by that same thing. And on the black side, it seems to be kind of just a negative. What it's a word that's used so much.
Yes, sir.
What is the true meaning of gentrification?
Really, gentrification is ethnic residential cleaning, residential cleansing. Because what you're saying is, I need to get them out the way.
Who's them?
Black folks. So I can do what I need to do, whether it's build a new stadium, build a new business district, they're in the way. So we got to figure out how we can get them out without appearing to be doing what we're doing, overt racism.
Legally.
The best way to do it is to raise the real estate taxes or raise the property value. Unfortunately, Black people, we don't employ a lot of our own. So as a result of that, we tend to work for white folks. They know how much we earn. So all I have to do is engineer the property tax, engineer the cost of the property itself.
Craig says a Chinese woman overseas 27 in China is called a leftover woman if she's not married. This goofy's lying like a motherfucker. Have you been to China? Have you been overseas? If not, hush. If you have not been overseas, I don't see you overseas. But then again, I might be lying. Because I probably wouldn't know. Let me play this tape and let me get a couple of cough drops, because geez, I'm still feeling some effects.
Because I know what you make, because I pay you.
You're going to get up out of here.
Absolutely. And as a result of that, I can move you. And on top of that, the banks are complicit, because the banks are the ones giving out the mortgages. So if the banks don't approve Black folks for those expensive homes, you got to go elsewhere anyway. So gentrification is residential ethnic cleansing. But here's the thing we got to keep in mind. When white flight took place back in the 40s and the 50s.
What's white flight?
When white people left the inner cities because Black folks were enticed during World War II to come up and take over the jobs that white men had to vacate in order to go serve overseas.
Gotcha.
The problem, though, with that whole great migration, us coming north to take over them jobs, is the fact that nobody talked about what would happen when the white man came back from World War II and needed his job back.
Right.
So when the white man came back from World War II, he needed his job back.
Right.
So that's where the racial conflict really intensified because it's like you're keeping me from eating. That's why you had the autumn racial clashes. Even after World War I, it was the same thing. The red hot summer of 1919 is a big reason for that. Was after the white males came back after World War I, they're like, oh, these blacks got our jobs. Y'all got to go. Black folks say, nah, I've been working here for 4 years now. I'm not going nowhere. That led to the bloodbath. And I would argue that the government, I'm going to say the government, what's the word you use? The government, when you entice it, you instigated it. The government instigated it because they did not plan for the return of white servicemen coming back to the States looking for their jobs after World War I. And if it happened after World War I, why wouldn't it happen after World War II?
So they should have, you saying?
Well, the government should have created either more jobs for the returning Caucasian, right? Or create a separate set of jobs for black folks. If we got to give these jobs back, let's create another economy for them. Or tell us that I want you to move from Georgia. I want you to move from Louisiana. I want you to come from the Carolinas. But it's only going to be for 4 years. You're only coming till they done. So make sure you got a way back south. They didn't tell us that. We assumed that these jobs was going to be permanent. So when the white servicemen came back, started lynching blacks.
Emma, hold up. How you doing, sister? How you doing? Come aboard.
It's killing blacks, burning down black communities. We looking at the government like, what's going on? And the government turned their back. You see, so white people never wanted to give up the inner city, but because we came during the war, post-war eras, and we start moving into the city center.
I didn't know that's what happened.
Which makes sense because all your business, the ghetto is never far from downtown.
It ain't, I was about to say that. No, Umar, I was just wondering why that always is. It's too close to downtown. I always wonder how that happened.
Because you need the cheap labor. Wherever you have capitalism, you have poor people. You can't have capitalism without poor people. There would be no Tesla. There would be no Amazon. There would be no Apple. There would be no Ford. There would be no Mercedes without poor people. In other words, whenever you see a billionaire, you know that there's some extremely broke people somewhere in the world making the little trinkets they need in order for this billionaire empire to last. Right now, you have several corporations under fire because they got child slaves in the Congo mining the minerals that they need.
Cobalt and all
Absolutely. Tesla is one of them, right? So as Elon Musk runs around acting like he's leader of the free world, your cars are partly being produced by child labor, exploitation.
Same
You
thing
see what I'm saying?
Apple cell phones. And
Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? So, and the Apple cell phone, another big one with the Congo. So there is capitalism requires poverty. And this is why when people run for office, they never talk about the poor. If you listen to Kamala Harris during her campaign stunt, it was all middle class. Donald Trump, middle class. Barack Obama, middle class. Joe Biden, middle class. When is the last time you heard a presidential candidate or gubernatorial talk about the poor? They don't. Because in order for capitalism to thrive, I got to exploit poor labor.
There ain't no money in that. Ain't no money in talking about the poor. Over here in Las Vegas, Nevada, there are more poor whites over here than there are blacks. I would damn near say equal amount now that, everything has gone completely crazy here in the last 2 years. Here in the last 2 years, it has gotten gotten more crazier. If you go downtown Las Vegas, a little bit toward the Neo Museum, you will see nothing but homeless people. It's just right past the Neon Museum. You will see nothing but tents set up, just massive amounts of tents, just people just laying up any and everywhere you find them. You're stepping over them. I mean, you're just completely stepping over homeless people. It's a pandemic over here. There is a law now, and if there isn't a law now, there will be one reprimanded. If you are homeless and you're on the park bench and you are sleeping, you will be arrested. You will be arrested and you will be detained and you will be turned in. They don't care about all that. They find it a place to sleep for the night. And then they go and they let you go. But this is how you treat your homeless people. But it's not, you have all these billions and billions of dollars and we can't build. No, I said that backwards. We have billions and billions of dollars here in the United States of America, but yet you have more golf courses. You have more golf courses and more funeral parlors than you do fraternity aid, and you have homeless people. If you get rid of those golf courses, because we don't need how many people other than white people and a few blacks here and there, how many golf courses do you need? Huh? All of this desert out here, how many golf courses? It's not just here. It's in Delaware, it's in New York, it's in LA, it's in Florida mostly. I mean, Jesus, how many of these golf courses do you need? What do you need with all that land?
You see,
right.
Let's go to the migrant crisis. A big reason, first of all, Donald Trump, he may deport some migrants.
Okay.
He's not getting rid of most of them.
Okay.
Right. Because one of the reasons they're over here is if you don't leave them, the corporation's going to pack up and take their factory somewhere else.
Right.
You got to let them over the border.
Right.
Because the rich corporations is like, why would I pay minimum wage in America?
Right.
Insurance, all these benefits, required federal leave, FMLA. Why I got to do this if I could take my factory to Thailand, Congo?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? All these poor countries, and they can make this for half of what I'm paying in America. So the migrants are here to try to keep the factories in America.
He knows that too.
All right. With that being said, my brain is on, particularly again, and this is a good thing. We have 12 acres worth of land filled full of holes in the United States, filled full of holes and shit for one little white ball to come in the hole. And for you to pick it up and knock it 15, 20, 30 feet. And for you to travel after it and then hit it again. Now I wouldn't mind it so much if you would just stand there and you would just be hitting. I even forgot that one golf course, that one golf place that you can like drink a beer and you can just sit there and you can just hit the mother and just watch it go by. Yeah, it has a net. It's like 30 feet. There's like 10 stories or something like that. 30 feet. I mean, you just you can hit it from 30, 40, 100 yards off, and you could just. I don't even know where the hell this place is. I mean, let me stop. I know where it is. It's in the Las Vegas Strip, but I just don't know what the name of it is. But like, or you can go to miniature golf. You can go to miniature golf, and you can do putt or whatever. What the fuck do you need with all that land? And you got damn near, in my opinion, if you estimate it, here in the state of Nevada, you have at least up to 500 to 1,000 homeless people here in Nevada. Whether it be here in Vegas, Reno, Prom, doesn't matter. You have at least up to 1,000 homeless people here in America. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You notice how they haven't mentioned ICE and the deportation. I was going to go into that, but I wanted to surprise Craig. I wanted to surprise Craig a little bit. We'll probably get to that a little later on to the show. Can anybody tell me what sentence Trump got for all those charges? He probably was going to do some time. Probably. But then again, he told me last night he has the backing of the Supreme Court, so he doesn't have to do anything right now. He hasn't do anything. I think they put all that shit on hold, didn't they? Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Please donate to me. And if you would like to donate to Dr. Umar, it's paypal.me/FDMG Academy. I will repeat, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. I will say it again, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. And Flora, I love you, my dear. I'm gonna let you slide for the night. You did that Umar shit on purpose. You did that Umar shit on purpose. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're just doing it for clicks and views. Okay, honey? You know, I still love you. I still respect you, but I'm gonna let you slide for the night. But you keep doing it, I'm gonna have to show up. I'm gonna have to show up, and I'm gonna have to correct you on a lot of things that you had said wrong. A lot of things. All right. I'm gonna let you eat. I'm gonna let you eat for the night. All right, Puddin'? All right. He said, my point is, I can hear her voice now. My point is, my point is, they said they would wait until the election. Just pointing out how you can do anything. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely correct. Of course, this is a white society. You can clearly do anything you want if you have capital, if you have money. You know, certain Negroes, I ain't gonna mention no names. I ain't gonna mention no clearly think just because they have money, it means that black people can do any and everything under the guise of white supremacy. Not clearly the case, because they allow it so. They allow it so. Oh, thank you. I was just making a statement. That not every Negro with money could just flash your money around or claim, I this, I that, I this, I that, I have 14,000 bag chasers. I did that. It was me. It was because of my Patreon and my Millionaire Morning and all this blah, 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 and whatever. Negro, please. You ain't nothing but a newer version of Clarence Thomas. That's the most that I can give you. Now, I had my eye on this woman for a very, very long time. and she is blowing up the spot. Now, I am not a politician, so I'm going to forewarn you. I'm not a politician. I clearly get it, but Lisa got me into politics, so I must learn. But if I'm going to learn anything, I'm going to learn from this woman. Craig, don't get mad at me. Do not get mad at me.
Yesterday, and he admitted that he was lying, and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie.
Let's bring in that House Oversight Committee member, Texas Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Congresswoman, did you learn anything from today's hearing that will help you or Elon Musk or anyone eliminate government waste?
Absolutely. First of all, it's great to be with you, Jake. I do want to point out that not even the Republicans' own witnesses decided to try to defend what Elon Musk has done thus far. Instead, all of the witnesses talked about things that we've been advocating for, such as making sure that we can modernize our technology so that we can root out those fraudsters that are able to attack us, because basically we are still living in the Stone Ages with our technology as we are trying to disseminate much needed dollars, whether it's for SNAP benefits or whether it's for a contract or whether it's for PPP loans. So yeah, they were advocating for the things that we've been talking about for a long time, and the Republicans consistently say defund, defund, and they don't want to make the investments, and therefore we end up in the situation that we're in. But they did not have an answer for why it would make sense to get rid of the Department of Education, why it would make sense to tell the CDC and the FDA that they should not be giving out information so that the American public can stay safe. They didn't have any explanations as to why we would have him sitting over the Department of Treasury, or why, if he is supposedly auditing anything, why they didn't actually go find someone who actually does auditing and instead put him there. So honestly, as far as I'm concerned, they have proven that this is nothing more than a sham. And as I laid out, another payday for Elon Musk, because we know that if there is any government welfare to be handed out, it is consistently being handed out to Elon Musk, who stopped all the money to USAID and various other organizations that depend on that money, while at the same time deciding that he would somehow get another contract for over $300 million authorized for a company that he's overseeing, while he's also allegedly rooting out waste.
You have called a Doge the devil. What do you say to the average American out there who says, look, the government spends too much money, and I just believe that they're not taking seriously enough, the federal government, the waste and the fraud that is out there. And if Elon Musk can find some of it, more power to him.
Yeah, if he could. But first of all, if you're going to find it, then the proper thing to do would be to find it. And then clearly this is an appointee of our Republican president. He should then take his findings to the Republican caucus. Currently, the Republicans control the House, the Senate, as well as the White House. He should have a caucus meeting with them.
Do you and Lisa want to have that argument? Again, I'm not a politician, but if y'all want to have that argument, please let me know.
Talk about what his findings are. Bring actual documentation versus posting on X and then saying, oh, well, I'm not going to be perfect. Well, what is the point? Honestly, you and your little team of teenagers seem like the biggest waste that we've endured since Donald Trump has sworn in, because we should not be chasing these random stories that are nothing more than propaganda that are designed to infuriate the American people. I understand when people say that they are concerned about our debt, as they should be concerned. But if you really want to look at the problem is probably with the Trump administration.
We're just looking at two big brats. That's all we're looking at. Two big giant brats. One with two of them billionaires. But that's all this is. This is nothing but capitalism. Capitalism at its best.
We know that administration, the last time they were in, ran our debt up an additional $8 trillion, more than anybody else has ever done. And we're not talking about that. So I don't know how they plan to fix it. If they want to talk about tax cuts, the ones that they are trying to get in under the radar that are only going to benefit the top 1%, then let's have that conversation and talk about them paying their fair share. Let's stop this idea of saying that it's people that are getting $6 a day to eat on SNAP benefits, and those are the people that are the problem with all of the waste. Let's talk about the fact that the Defense Department, which when we look at our spending, takes up almost 50% of our budget. And we know that defense has not been able to pass an audit in the last 6 audits. They were spending as much as $1,000 per toilet. That is where we have real money that is going out. Yet you know what they keep doing, Jake? Every single budget, they give them more money. You know where Elon gets the vast majority of his money? He gets it from the side of the ledger that defense resides on. Let's talk about it.
Listen, this is what I'm going to do. Since I can't even say it right, since she's the big bad wolf, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find an email, a DM, or however, if I have to go on a website to find this woman. And I'm going to bring this woman on if she will have me bring her on. And I'm going to ask questions. I know those are government contracts. I already know. I'm going to bring her on board. And then I want you to come up, Craig, and I want you to argue with her then. And watch her tear your little scrawny ass apart. This will make good content for me. All right? I mean, if you want to do it, we can do it. Say the word, Craig. Say the word.
If you want to talk about it.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Ooh. I mean, if you want to make it a thing, we can make it a thing. Ain't no thing, but what was she actually tripping about for anyway? I think I know why she was trying to do that. Let me see. Sound off.
The previous speaker went over by a minute. We've heard a lot about the fact that Democrats have been talking about Elon Musk. And let me give you a news alert. We're not going to stop talking about him. We're going to keep talking about him until he is out of here. Now, if he wants to be elected or appointed and confirmed to something.
Oh, and by the way, isn't Elon Musk he's not a U.S. citizen. He's not even a U.S. citizen. Since he was allegedly born in South Africa. I don't know if he was allegedly born in South Africa. And since he's not a citizen here in the United States, he has no business being in the office. Am I correct? Am I correct? Oh, he was born in Africa. So if he was born in Africa and he doesn't have a citizenship here, what the fuck is he doing in the White House?
Then so be it. But as of right now, we have some.
Oh, because Trump is currently married to a broad that is from overseas as well. Wow. So we have a white South African, a colonizer, that's what I would call him, and another colonizer that Trump is married to. And they're both from overseas. Do they have their citizenship?
Somebody that for whatever reason, I don't know if y'all just trying to play in our face because you think we're stupid, or if you literally just cannot see the difference in a George Soros and a Bill Gates. But let me give you a little bit of the difference. Number one, George Soros nor Bill Gates ever somehow decided to turn off the spigot of money that was going through to various organizations and agencies.
What up, Vaughn?
To the extent that it had actually been ordered by law that they should have access to it, to the extent that people are dying. There are people that have died as a result of this antic. And there are now farmers that are screaming that they may lose their family farms because we have over $500 million worth of food that is sitting and not going anywhere because of the attempt to shut down USAID. So let me tell you, that is the big difference between the two of them. And let me also tell you that a big difference between Democrats and Republicans is that we don't just say we believe in the Constitution, but we walk it like we talk it. What does that mean? That means that if we believe in the Constitution, we don't just pick out the Second Amendment and say that it is limitless, nor do we pick out the First Amendment and say that it is limitless. The thing about the Constitution is that it has always been a balancing test. There are limits to this. And right now, what we continue to hear from a certain side of the aisle is that there are no limits to this lawlessness. In fact, there are limits. And I can tell you that one of those limits typically is around hate crimes. You may or may not know that when it comes down to it, if somebody decides that they want to send something hateful in, say, the U.S. mail, they can actually go to prison for that, up to 5 years in prison. So yes, there are always going to be limits. So when we start to talk about Trump and him being pulled down on any platform, this just happened to be after he incited an insurrection. This just happened to be after, in a bipartisan way, this particular chamber decided that they were going to impeach him. So there was something a little different about what he did, because as we know, it led to people actually dying. But let's talk about who's doing the nefarious things with the tech giants.
Before she goes all into that rant, I need y'all to do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And please, if you have $1, if you can spare, please spare it. Let's continue.
Because I don't think that one side of the aisle is promoting truth, but sometimes it may seem a little treasonous. All right, so we've got this article right here about this guy. Meta says it will end its fact-checking program on social media posts. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Then we have Washington Post says it will not endorse a candidate for president. We also know that actually they absolutely intended to endorse Kamala Harris. We have this one. Google Maps now show Gulf of America instead of Gulf of Mexico for app users in the United States, which is a complete farce because it's the Gulf of Mexico. It always has been. And we know that the AP got kicked out yesterday because they refused to buy into this lie, because that's all y'all really want to promote is lies. That's the big issue that we have. Elon Musk boosted false USAID conspiracy theories to shut down global aid. Now, while he was boosting those lies about USAID, and he was stopping money going for, say, things such as Head Start, somehow the only money that didn't stop was the money to him and his organization. Now, I don't know how you can have him be the watchdog as well as the guy that is literally living off of the government. If we want to talk about government welfare, it looks like Elon Musk, because it's my understanding that just on yesterday, a new contract was approved for approximately $300 million for Elon Musk. So listen, I just want y'all to be honest. You want to sit here, you want to lie, because so often we hear, well, you know, yeah, we did lie. In fact, he admitted that he lied when he was in the Oval Office yesterday. But if it's a lie that will get you into office, such as saying, I know nothing about Project 2025, yet on day one, you literally do everything that you can to implement it, including making sure that you put, say, one of the main architects of Project 2025 over the OMB, it's okay so long as you get the power that you seek. The problem is that the game is going to be on the American people. And when I say the American people, I mean all of us. Unfortunately, I am also stuck in the twilight zone because of the lies that were allowed to be propagated. Just like when you're talking about vaccines and all this nonsense. Right now in my state of Texas, there is an outbreak of measles. And what they are finding is that because there's been so much disinformation about vaccines, that kids are sick right now with measles that they did not have to have if they just trusted doctors and experts instead of randoms online. So I will end by saying this, Mr. Chairman, because I know we believe in Jesus in this chamber. In John 8:32, it says, the truth shall set you free. So maybe we should focus on a little bit of truth in this chamber. I'll yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman was. You were involved in a hearing with Elon Musk about condoms, right? Do you remember this whole?
It wasn't with Elon. Elon, if you're watching, come through, boo, because you haven't shown up to the Doge subcommittee yet.
Right. And
if you were trying to conduct audits and figure out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is, I don't know why you would go to some tech guy. In fact, it was only techies that were sitting there at inauguration. We didn't have auditors. I would welcome auditors to come in and do forensic audits. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday and he admitted that he was lying and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie. So let me tell you something.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It's time for
the
us
gentlelady's
to do our
time
job
has expired.
and rein in this rogue actor known
The gentlelady's
as
time has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Burleson. Now recognize the gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Crockett, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Mr. Talcove, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up where you left off really quickly. Just to be clear, the upgrades that you're talking about as it relates to our data processes, these aren't things that would be free, are they? They would cost some kind of money. Not looking for a number, but they will cost, correct?
some are free and some would cost money.
Okay. All right. So I just want to leave it there because we've had a number of these hearings. So I do want to be clear, before the Trump administration came in, this committee did exist in the form of the Oversight Committee. And our task is to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. In that vein, we had a number of hearings, at least last term. I can't speak for any other term as I'm only in my sophomore term. And we dealt with improper payments. And interestingly enough, our chairwoman, who is so passionate about this today, she missed every single one of those improper payment hearings. But just to be clear, I was there. So I don't want anyone to believe that Democrats just come to work and don't plan to do work. In fact, I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that the Republicans believe our job is, because right now they have relinquished their constitutional duties over to an unelected bureaucrat, someone who no one went out to vote for. And absolutely, he is occupying the Oval Office, as we saw yesterday. And that is a first for me, to see someone occupying the Oval Office who's never actually been elected to the Oval Office and actually answering more questions than the person that allegedly got elected. But for whatever reason, this is the first time we're having a Doge subcommittee hearing, and that guy's not here. Instead, we have y'all. So I do want to thank you for coming. But I will say this. It's also interesting to me that in the first few days of Doge existing, we know that they are trying to get rid of the Department of Education, USAID, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They're laying off FAA workers. They are going after the FDA, the CDC, the HHS, the FBI agents, and they're talking about getting rid of FEMA. And they brought y'all in. And I am going to say that I actually was shocked that there was only one person that seemed like he was an overt Trumper as you laid out your opening remarks, because I anticipated that at least one of y'all would say, yes, what Elon is doing is exactly what we would prescribe. But instead, I will applaud you because you actually were focused. You talked about what the American people are looking for us to do. We've actually consistently on this side of the aisle promoted this idea of making investments into technology so that we can do things such as, say, look at the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense that takes up approximately 50% of our discretionary income or our discretionary spending. Approximately 50% goes to the Department of Defense. Defense. Department of Defense has not been able to pass an audit in the last 6 audits. And we're not talking about.
Sorry it took me so long. Sorry, I paused there for a second. I had to say goodnight to my son. He was having some nightmares or whatever. But we can continue.
Pennies. I understand that we want everything to be perfect, and if we could get all waste, fraud, and abuse out, that would be fantastic. But let me talk about the big numbers. The big numbers are on that side. When we look at, say, our entire workforce, our federal workforce, as we're trying to somehow fire all of them, they don't even make up a total of 5%. It's even less than that when we look at our budget. But let's talk about defense. That just happens.
Both parties, it is like we've been saying for all along. I mean, we both agree there. But I also said that you need to start working. You need to start building for yourselves. I don't know how many times you have to say that. Build infrastructure for yourselves, and we don't have to worry about these little things that come about each and every single day. Planes crashing, things not working, people crashing out over silly stuff. I mean, this world has gone completely crazy. AI has gone completely nuts, and people are already start talking about AI taking over, robots taking over people's jobs. I would say in about 30 more years, yeah. You got to be prepared for that one.
To be the same side of the ledger that Mr. Musk gets the vast majority of his money from. In fact, at the same time that they were unlawfully, and we will stay in court, because on this side, we believe in law and order. We believe in, a number of us are actually lawyers, but nevertheless, we understand the Constitution. We believe in that as well. And so there's things such as, impoundment, right? Because as Mr. Whitson said, he said, we need to return the power of the purse to Congress. It never left. According to the Constitution, that's where it's at. Now, I know that people are confused right now because for whatever reason, we had a guy that went in, and you talk about people invading our data. Listen, people said that they were upset about TikTok, but I'm upset about the guy that runs Twitter, who for sure is doing nefarious things, because I don't understand, if you are trying to conduct audits and figure out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is, I don't know why you would go to some tech guy. In fact, it was only techies that were sitting there at inauguration. We didn't have auditors. I
just want to say for the moment, I just want to say clearly, and this is from the bottom of my heart. Elon Musk has completely gone nuts. On X, of course, there's, you can put anything on X now. You can put criminalistic things. You can put anything you want, including porn in there. But these women who have completely taken over X, they have lost their freaking minds. You know how they have the bucket challenge, right? They used to have the bucket challenge. Y'all remember the bucket challenge? Y'all put buckets of cold water, ice water. I tried that 20 years ago. They have the goofy, I don't know what kind of goofy challenges they had out. But now they got the sucking of the dildo challenge. Sucking they call it the dildo challenge. The dildo challenge. Where you got a woman who is sucking off a dildo in the middle of wherever she can get her, wherever she's at. I can't pull up the clip because that's basically, I can't pull it up. Just look it up. If you don't believe me, you can go on X and you can look up the dildo challenge. Caught in the casino. Y'all remember that? You remember that? You remember Kitty? Does anybody remember Kitty? I'm a twerking in the church. I'm a twerking in the grocery store. I'm twerking here. I'm twerking there. You remember that girl, right? The one that Tommy Sotomayor was fucking. Oh, allegedly fucking. But this is on X. You can literally put any and everything on X. And you won't be cited for it. But when Kendrick Lamar, no, it wasn't Kendrick Lamar, I'm sorry. But when Julian, and I'll pull up and I'll have to find the clip again. When Julian made his statements in Africa, and it wasn't kill the white man, kill the white man, kill the farmer, and all this other shit. He had to basically clear his name. They had, according to the First Amendment rights, they had to say that this man is a terrorist. This man is a murderer. Why would he express these things? This is Elon Musk talking. I'm saying, sir, you're a South African. White South Africans are the worst races in South Africa. So what are you talking about? You took over a whole application that has nothing but smudge all over it, sir. And now you're in the White House with the most idiotic capitalist son of a bitches on earth with no daddy issues. Oh, I'm sorry, he does have daddy issues. The biggest brat has never been in poverty, has never been in any type of trouble with the law per se. And you have the nerve to open your goddamn mouth?
Welcome auditors to come in and do forensic audits. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday and he admitted that he was lying and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie. So let me tell you something.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It's time for
the
us
gentlelady's
to do our
time
job
has expired.
and rein in this rogue actor known
The gentlelady's
as
time has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Burleson.
Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Unbelievable. It's going to cut her off right in front of the middle of the damn thing. That's okay. That is okay. So, Craig, are you going to accept my challenge? Are you going to accept my challenge? If I can bring Miss Crockett, if I can find a Mrs. Crockett, and if I can bring her up here, will you come up here and will you debate her on live camera? We can do here, we do it any way you want to, Craig. Any way you want to, Craig. Come on. Let's get this challenge going. Lisa, you want to challenge Craig? let's get this 2 out of 3 going. Let's get this 2 out of 3 going. Come on. What else we got? What else do we got? Now I had to look up. So I had to look up some of the. There's more where that came from. That's more where that came from. Let me go ahead. This is a let's see, because I'm trying to like get warmed up to this, and all this is to me, Lisa, you can prove me wrong. All this is nothing but a bunch of infighting to me. I think this is what politics is. It's nothing but a bunch of infighting. You're fighting for liberation, you're fighting for justice, but where's the power? Where's the influence? I mean, maybe you can help me. Let me see.
Gentleman from Texas, Miss Crockett, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Mr. Talcove, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up where you left off really quickly. Just to be clear, the upgrades that you're talking about as it relates to our data processes, these aren't things that would be free, are they? They would cost some kind of money. Not looking for a number, but they will cost, correct?
Some are free and some would cost money.
Okay. All right. So I just want to leave it there because we've had a number of these hearings. So I do want to be clear, before the Trump administration came in, this committee did exist in the form of the Oversight Committee, and our task is to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. In that vein, we had a number of hearings, at least last term. I can't speak for any other term as I'm only in my sophomore term. And we dealt with improper payments. And interestingly enough, our chairwoman, who is so passionate about this today, she missed every single one of those improper payment hearings. But just to be clear, I was there. So I don't want anyone to believe that Democrats just come to work and don't plan to do work. In fact, I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that the Republicans believe our job is, because right now they have relinquished their constitutional duties over to an unelected bureaucrat, someone who no one went out to vote for. And absolutely, he is occupying the Oval Office, as we saw yesterday. And that is a first for me, to see someone occupying the Oval Office who's never actually been elected to the Oval Office and actually answering more questions than the person that allegedly got elected. But for whatever reason, this is the first time we're having a Doge subcommittee hearing, and that guy's not here. Instead, we have y'all. So I do want to thank you for coming. But I will say this. It's also interesting to me that in the first few days of Doge existing, we know that they are trying to get rid of the Department of Education, USAID, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They're laying off FAA workers. They are going after the FDA, the CDC, the HHS, the FBI agents, and they're talking about getting rid of FEMA. And they brought y'all in. And I am going to say that I actually was shocked that there was only one person that seemed like he was an overt Trumper as you laid out your opening remarks, because I anticipated that at least one of y'all would say, yes, what Elon is doing is exactly what we would prescribe. But instead, I will applaud you.
So what are you? I'm okay. Both sides go back and forth in front of the camera, and off camera, they laugh together. No disrespect, but I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. Because what I do know one thing. I mean, we work in the same facility, but we ain't got to get along with each other. It was like your bosses always pull you to the side and say, you may not like one another, but you damn sure have to work with one another. So I don't think that's the case at all. But I mean, the real medicine, the real cure is to find out where the money goes. To find out where the money goes, who's in power, how is he or she controlling the narrative. He who pays the tune calls the fiddle, calls the tune.
Because you actually were focused. You talked about what the American people are looking for us to do. We've actually consistently on this side of the aisle promoted this idea of making investments into technology so that we can do things such as, say, look at the Department of Defense. The Department of Defense that takes up approximately 50% of our discretionary income or our discretionary spending. Approximately 50% goes to Department of Defense. Department of Defense has not been able to pass an audit in the last 6 audits, and we're not talking about pennies. I understand that we want everything to be perfect, and if we could get all waste, fraud, and abuse out, that would be fantastic. But let me talk about the big numbers. The big numbers are on that side. When we look at, say, our entire workforce, our federal workforce, as we're trying to somehow fire all of them, they don't even make up a total of 5%. It's even less than that when we look at our budget. But let's talk about defense. That just happens to be the same side of the ledger that Mr. Musk gets the vast majority of his money from. In fact, at the same time that they were unlawfully, and we will stay in court, because on this side, we believe in law and order. We believe in, a number of us are actually lawyers, but nevertheless, we understand the Constitution. We believe in that as well. And so there's things such as, impoundment, right? Because as Mr. Whitson said, he said, we need to return the power of the purse to Congress. It never left. According to the Constitution, that's where it's at. Now, I know that people are confused right now because for whatever reason, we had a guy that went in, and you talk about people invading our data. Listen, people said that they were upset about TikTok, but I'm upset about the guy that runs Twitter, who for sure is doing nefarious things because I don't.
Yeah, I heard this one before. Now let's get, for the sake of argument, let's get to your guy. Never heard of him before. Never listened to his content before. But after a few videos, I'm convinced. It may not stick with me for a while, but I'm convinced. Before I get to this man's video, please hit the like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I think I ain't gonna be doing any more videos on Lemonhead anymore. This dude is sick. Lennon Honor is sick. And if you don't know it yet, then something's wrong with you too. It's just like dealing with the book is like dealing with the boogeyman. And I don't celebrate pagan holidays. I don't celebrate Christmases. I don't celebrate Valentine's. I don't celebrate none of that bullshit. Because if you look at the origins of every single pagan holiday, it's just sickening. And what he's doing is sick. He's just like old Saint Nick that never even. It's just that fungus that never goes away. If you learn to ignore it, maybe it will. But then again, maybe it won't. But I do know one thing. His goonie goo goo chat. You know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. Because the one piece of me, and I'm gonna share you a small story. I had a talk with my sister. A small little talk with my sister. Now, she's an anti-Umar hater as well. But off camera, that's my dear sister. I love her very much. She knows pretty good doggone well when I'm hurting or I'm happy or I'm sad. She's just that type of person. But she also knows that I will fight for Umar to the very end. She just wants me to be careful with certain things, and first and foremost, pray to God. Pray to God for strength. Pray to God for understanding, and also pray to God for whatever it is that you want in life, in person. And I duly cherish that. It's due to the fact that YouTube has taken over a lot of people's lives. I mean, a lot of people is just, and I'm not, it's not for most, because most don't generate over 100 a day. And if people would generate 100 a day, I often ask myself, are there people who are laughing with you or people laughing at you? There are always going to be people, there's going to be 50% of the people who are going to be laughing with you. And there are going to be 50% of the people who are going to be laughing at you once you generate 100 people, 100 to 1,000 people. This cat generates the same amount of people, and sometimes he generates new people because they want to know what's going on. And in Lennon's case, people just want to find out what's going on, or it's just Umar, or it's just I hate this dude. He has done this and done that. Who the hell does he think he is? Blah 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 blah. You know what? It's no different from when Marcus Garvey got in trouble allegedly for that blue star, for that alleged envelope that was out there, that people said that he was deporting funds or some shit, I forgot. But something that landed him in jail for 5 years. And he asked, well, what's in the envelope? Because I never committed fraud in my life. I don't even know who these people are. And so on and so forth, that actually presented themselves, and I don't even know who they are. They just wanted Marcus Garvey out the way because of how, not because of how much of an influence that he was, but what he was generating. I mean, he was generating newspapers. I believe he had like a hospital, he had a school, and he had one ship, or I think he had multiple ships, importing product and white power structure, including Negroes with education. I call them the Negroes of education. E.B. Du Bois wanted that man out the way, which is quite sad, because just like Malcolm and just like Martin, we could have had something all those years ago. At least Malcolm and Martin put their shit to the side and they said, we're going to work for a cause that's much bigger than us. I'll say it again. Malcolm and Martin put their shit aside to work together to fight for something that was bigger than us. Unfortunately, those plans never came to fruition. Those plans never came to fruition. And that's quite sad, because most Negroes who are afraid to tell themselves that they are more than what they are, or they're afraid of saying who they are, or they're afraid of what people may think of them. Fuck that. You're just a coward just like anybody else. and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't care what people think of Umar. You may think he's a grifter. He's this, he's that. How many people do you know who would do the exact same thing in this lifetime, what he does and how he does it in this lifetime? Generating as many people around the world. Like them, love them, doesn't even matter. If he's generating this much buzz, and you have a coward that goes online and makes nothing but videos of Umar. Nothing but. I could give a little bit of respect to information, man, because he likes to make a few videos here, a few videos there, and then he moves on to the next thing. Certain cats like to make videos here, videos there, and they just move on to the next thing. I can give him a little bit of respect for that. It's the same thing with I would say I have a little bit more respect for Tariq Nasheed, because Tariq Nasheed, even though they have feud, I mean they still stay on code with one another. Umar hasn't said not one word about Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed hasn't said one word unless agitated, unless his chat just eggs him on. He hasn't said not one word about Umar. But clearly, y'all don't see it because of how blind you are. You're just blind. So I blame you, and I blame the Cooney Goo chat, aka the Cookie Crush chat. I would tell y'all to go to hell, but y'all too big for that. So anyway, moving forward, I just thought, well, let me see. Like I said, there's this guy I've been wanting to review that Lisa put me on to, and he has good content. Let's listen to it.
Democracy of discrimination and hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And of course, if you have any nominees, you can throw them in the comments. You can email me at reese@reesewaters.com. And shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. Today's nominee, America. I mean, did you really need me to explain that?
I was saved by God to make America great again.
What? What the hell did he just say?
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, to the Gulf of America. So this is a big one.
I don't know why everybody is shocked about this. I don't know why.
This is a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion based on the current crisis at the southern border. It invokes various executive powers relating to the ongoing invasion at the southern border.
We're the only country in the world that does this with birthright, as you know. And it's just absolutely ridiculous.
The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty. We're going to save over $1 trillion by withdrawing from that treaty.
What is this?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization. So that's a big one.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
The Trump administration announced a sweeping freeze on all federal grants, funds already approved by Congress. Chief Washington correspondent John Carl is tracking Trump's executive action. John, the administration says this is just a temporary pause, but it could have major consequences.
Hey, if you don't want to believe me, take it from Jasmine Crockett.
Hey, y'all. New hair, as you can see. I am headed in for my swearing in. I am late.
Whoa. What in the Mary J. Blige? What funeral and repast you just came from? They didn't have time for you to change before you went to the swearing in? Man, that body not even cold. By the way, hopefully you didn't actually come from a funeral. If that's the case, then I apologize. That is very appropriate.
But I absolutely promised that I was going to go live so that I could talk about this bullshit that's popping off.
I don't know about you, but I trust a congressman that says, I want to talk about this bullshit that's popping off. That is, you know, when they say who you would like to have a beer with, I would say most likely to say bullshit that's popping off. That's who I trust.
So, in short, as I attempted to say over and over and over in the campaign, this is a white supremacy agenda that was laid out in Project 2025. If you go back on YouTube and look at some of the clips of various members in committee asking people, such as the guy that they're trying to put over the OMB, he is somebody that I question for sure about this Project 2025 agenda because he is one of the authors of Project 2025. I am trying to tell you that they don't care about the middle class.
By the way, in case you don't remember that,
Mr. Hamilton, I don't want you to.
Okay, has anybody read that stupid book? That 900-page book? Anybody read it? I haven't read it yet. Has anybody read it? It's pretty much nothing new under the sun going on to this very day. Why is everybody so fucking worried? What have they not done in America that they're planning on doing other than blowing up the entire country? What will they do? What, are they going to take money away from us? They're already doing that. Raising the taxes up. What are they doing?
You feel left out of this conversation. So I'm going to make sure I ask you some questions. Let me know if you're having problems answering them because they really should be yes or no. Let's see. You're the executive director for the America First Legal, correct?
All right. Sidebar. Craig, come in there. You hit that, wouldn't you? Don't lie. You would hit that, wouldn't you, Craig? If you say no, you're a fucking liar, Craig. You lie, Craig. Don't lie, Craig. Do not lie. Do not lie, Craig.
That's correct.
All right. And America First Legal is a member of Project 2025, which is dedicated to creating the playbook for the next conservative administration and what it calls the Project Pillars, correct?
We are proud contributors to Project 2025.
Okay. And are you familiar with Project 2025's mandate for leadership?
In fact, I am.
Okay. And in fact, you wrote some of the sections of this mandate related to the DOJ, correct?
Sure did.
And the mandate outlines policy priorities for the next conservative president. Is that correct?
It does.
You've done a great job. I just want to let you know. All right, so let's walk through some of the provisions of the mandate. It calls for eliminating the Department of Education, eliminating the Department of Commerce, deploying the military for the use of domestic law enforcement against protesters under the Insurrection Act of 1807. It also has the repealing of Schedule F status for thousands of federal employees to allow a president to replace career civil servants with unqualified partisan loyalists. That's probably my favorite of it. It also prohibits the FBI from combating the spread of misinformation and disinformation, like Russia and China, who are actively trying to interfere with American elections. I don't know why or how anybody can support Project 2025. And I know that there was allegedly a joke about dictators and whether or not that's funny, but in the United States of America, dictatorships are never funny. And Project 2025 is giving the playbook for authoritarianism as well as the next dictator to come in. And I know that you are doing your jobs here by making sure that hopefully some juror turns on and finds some viral moment of you spewing more of the nonsense as it relates to the president. But as practicing lawyers or licensed attorneys, I hope that we can all agree that no one gets indicted because someone says so. There takes a grand jury, and the grand jury is comprised of American citizens that sit down and review evidence, and they make the determination. And when and if Trump is convicted, it will be a jury of his peers, and it won't be the president of the United States.
Like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Lisa, I have a small assignment for you. Since you brought me into this is your fault. Yes, this is your fault, Lisa. Your fault. I need for you to look for this woman. And with your charm and with your wits and your beautiful looks and your wonderful voice, I would like for you to let this woman know that you have an admirer named We-On-Loc Nation. And Mr. We-On-Loc would like to sit down and discuss the and you're gonna have to write this down too, because I don't even know what the first thing to ask this lady. I think the first couple of things I would ask: why is the economy so bad? Is Trump going to do exactly what Trump said he was going to do for this economy? Because the only thing that matters now is the lowering of costs of food, gas, water. Food, gas, and water. I don't know the only thing I would know how to say. Yes, you, Lisa. You. It's your fault that I'm in this position in the first place. It's your fault that I'm looking at this. Anyway, this woman right here, and I'm not a politician. So you go do research, and then you find her, and then you bring her to me. That is an order. That is an order, ma'am. Now, getting back to what I was doing.
Democrats need to stop saying that we didn't have a middle class agenda. No, our middle class agenda has been taking care of people for a very long time.
Now, I love that she said this. One of the things that infuriated me in the postscript to the election is to hear from people that the Democrats had abandoned the working man, that the Democrats had abandoned the middle class, while Trump stands in front of literally the richest man in the world. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you? The man was willing to put money in people's pockets to register people to vote in Pennsylvania. That guy. But the Democrats abandoned the working man. At the same time, you don't necessarily get this one for free, Democrats, because I can't simultaneously say it's ridiculous to argue that you abandon the middle class when he's surrounded by billionaires, and also think that everything is fine when they were able to make that rhetoric fly. Clearly, there is a disconnect between perception and reality, and that's something they're able to play upon consistently.
And I'm gonna be clear, it's not just a middle class agenda, it is a poor folk agenda as well. So the idea that people right now are struggling, not knowing whether or not Head Start will actually be available so that they can go out and work, and then the next thing you know, we know that the Republicans are gonna say you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, even though you can't go to work and you wanna go to work. I just tweeted not too long ago about the fact that our unemployment numbers are going to go up. We are headed for a full-on recession, and that is not me trying to be an alarmist. That is me trying to get you to pay attention.
And just in case you're questioning what she's saying right now, you could either A, look at these empty fields across America, or B, just leave your house and look at these prices across America.
So most of you are wondering, what can you do? Well, what we should have done was on November 5th, but nevertheless, this is where we are. So what do we do next? Well, number one, there's a lot of organizations that have decided they are going to engage in litigation. We also need to be supportive of our attorney generals in the good states. The good states are the ones that have this all together. Now, the poor states haven't jumped in this. And frankly, if we get court rulings that benefit the whole country, those poor states like Mississippi, like Louisiana, the ones that rely on the states that bring in the money, like California, etc., then you know what? If y'all not trying to jump in the litigation, don't worry about getting your funding. We'll keep the funding in our states, the ones that have attorney generals that are actually working for the people.
In other words, to quote the great Smokey, you didn't put in on this man, and I got no problem with it. I got absolutely no problem with it. And by the way, it's not lost on me the how shall I say, leanings of most of the jurisdictions that she named. So y'all want to stand on business? Huh? Y'all want to stand on MAGA business?
So where are we right now? We know that there's been lawsuits filed everywhere. There has been one district court judge as it relates specifically to him trying to stop these funds, okay? That judge has basically said, we're going to put a hold on this. We're not doing what you want to do on Monday, February 3rd, when everything is supposed to take effect. Now, the questions are like, what will it impact? Because they got their new little press secretary. She got up there. She lied through her teeth. She's just a good MAGA because only loyalists are allowed to be involved. She did not want to answer the questions. They said if it was benefits, they go directly to the people, then the benefits will still go directly to the people. The reality is that when they put out the memo, it contradicted what she said.
That's not the only thing that contradicted what she said. Also, facts and information also contradicted what she said. Did she really say $50 million in condoms for Gaza? How many is that? That's like over 20 per person in a war zone. Anytime, any place. You know, I should stop. We're not cool with Janet right now.
So who knows what all they are trying to go after? It does seem as if SNAP benefits will be on the cutting block. And again, you can go back and watch video footage of me talking about the fact that
SNAP benefits are going to be on the chopping block. So they're trying to get rid of aid? Are they trying to get rid of aid?
rural America uses more SNAP benefits than urban America, but urban America seems to get it right when it comes to voting. Rural America, I need you to wake up, because if for some reason you can't put food on your table, just know who you need to blame.
And rural America, just in case you're doubting what she's saying right now, here you go.
Let me just get right down to some math. There's something in this bill that I think if you ask every member of this committee, that they can say, you know what, I agree with that one part. Someone can find something, but that's not the definition of bipartisanship. Bipartisanship means that we are looking at making sure that those things that are at the core of who we are. And when we say things like we're fighting for SNAP benefits, I do want to be clear that me fighting for SNAP benefits isn't about my district. I mean, obviously it is, but at the end of the day, so many members have said, my district, my district, my district, my district, my district. When we write a farm bill, it is for everyone in the United States of America. And just to clarify, when it comes to SNAP benefits specifically, rural America uses more SNAP benefits than urban America. And right now, I serve an urban district. The majority of my Republican colleagues serve rural districts. So when I say that I'm fighting for a bill that includes making sure that people in this country don't go hungry, I'm not saying that just to say that this is about Texas 30. I'm saying that to say that this is about all of us. So I am not just fighting for my constituents, I'm fighting for yours too. And that's all we're asking for. And ultimately, if we really want to make sure that there's a bipartisan farm bill, then you will absolutely have the opportunity to do that by making sure that we can protect America's safety net.
Now, I understand that hearing
at the same, I hear her, but at the same damn time, you clearly had a woman that, to me, that was clearly unqualified at this moment in time to take office. I don't trust anyone. I didn't trust her, and I the damn show didn't trust Trump. I beg people for this coming election, which will be 4 years. You got 2028 coming up. And God willing, we're still here. And Cory Booker grows some nuts. I would rather vote for Cory Booker. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, possibly Jasmine it might get so bad that Jasmine might just step it up, and we might elect her to be in office. Who knows?
Hearing it from Jasmine Crockett's mouth, or hearing it from Reese Waters' mouth, or we're seeing it on the screen on YouTube, might not be enough to supersede the Fox News and Newsmax rhetoric that it is a black and brown program exclusively, because I know that's how they like to frame things. Just wait and see. Just wait and see when that check comes. I mean, I know the fact that you yourself aren't on it hasn't even affected your perception, but let's just wait. You'll see.
In addition to that, there is a question about whether or not housing benefits are going to be under attack. From what I can tell, it looks like if you get a housing voucher, that it may be under attack. We also know that those that typically get rural electric assistance as it relates to being able to pay those bills, as well as LIHEAP, it looks like those are going to be under attack as well. Let me just tell y'all something. He has a track record of bankruptcy. He has a track record of just not paying his bills. Right now, what he is trying to do is run the federal government the exact same way, in a fraudulent way where we don't pay our bills.
And what I can't figure out is, these were things that even MAGA didn't dispute pre-election. But he was the one you trusted with the economy. But y'all not racist. That would be like letting J.D. Vance call somebody a Silicon Valley. They actually did that too. They did that too.
So on March 14th, mark my words, I could be wrong, but I think we're going to end up shutting down the government. The problems that we keep seeing is that he is trying to test his power.
Shutting down the government. Where have I heard that one before?
He said that he was going to be a dictator on day one, and that's exactly what we are experiencing, because he decides that his power of the pen should overrule everything else. The reason that he is wrong, in my legal opinion, is that when it comes to appropriations, that is not something that the president does. It is something that the Congress does. The Congress has the power of the purse. What does that mean? That means that it has to go through 535 people before it makes it to the president's desk. And that is the only way that we literally take in your tax dollars from the various ways that we take in tax revenue. And then we redistribute that money in the various ways that we do. That has to go through Congress. He unilaterally believes that he can, with the stroke of a pen, say, never mind, we're going to undo that. A couple of issues with that. Number one, we have the power of the purse, not the president. Number two, that has already been signed into law. We have organizations that are relying on us. They have made contracts based on that. And so I personally think those organizations need to jump into some of this litigation, because they are relying to their detriment on what we promised them. That's yet more legal terminology. But he tried this when it came down to the Constitution. He believes that he can override the Constitution as well. And so that's why he's been pushed back by a Reagan Republican judge immediately, where they said you can't get rid of birthright citizenship. But I think that what he's trying to do is he is daring this Trump Supreme Court to cross him.
Hey, Jasmine, I'm just going.
Please hit the like. Let me get at least 2 more likes. Please hit, excuse me. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. And I need a cup of coffee. So hit the super chat. Support, support, support.
I'll jump in here real quick. And yes, shout out to Judge Lauren Ali Khan for that coming through. Now, Donald Trump isn't the first citizen to have designs like this, either in the United States or across the world. But what stops them from achieving that total power here are the checks and balances that we have put in place. Those come in 2 forms. Those come in those in his party who are supposed to pledge an allegiance to the country over their party, and certainly the country over an individual. And that speaks to the people on the other side of the aisle who repeatedly debase themselves for Trump. The other check and balance would be the folks that oppose him, who should be holding him accountable and making these things punitive. Because all the stuff that he's doing is stuff that y'all said he was going to do. But that wasn't a problem. Which is a problem.
Listen, all we need is some people with a backbone, and that's on both sides of the aisle. We need some Republicans that say we are not okay with you destroying everything. And when I say everything, it's not just going to be black folk, it's not just going to be brown folk, it's going to be rural white folk as well.
And that is the fascinating thing about where we are now, because it blows my mind how many people are willing to say, but not me. We saw it with the summer of 2020 and the fact that the idea of having any kind of accountability for law enforcement was a partisan issue because people convinced themselves that it wasn't them. We saw it in the election of 2024 when the Latinos for Trump were able to convince themselves, oh, but not me. We saw it with women. Well, I'm secure. My man got money. My family gonna be good. I'm not really worried about future generations or what the women cross town got to deal with. So many people were willing to convince themselves, not me. We are a massively selfish country right now.
Not only massively selfish, we become massively stupid. If I told you of so many things I've heard from these past couple of days, it's sickening. You're gonna blame Willie Lynch and you're going to put Willie Lynch on women as if to say that they were the influencers of men getting brutally beaten and bashed and murdered. Y'all gonna put that on women. Interesting. I mean, we're still doing that again. I got you. This world has become quite boring, but yet if I were to, like I said, if I were to do anything else other than Umar content or a little bit of politic here and there, I might as well just cut the shit and just say y'all some pitiful ass Negroes and the women ain't shit and they just need to just wash their musty pussy. And I would just go on a tirade and see how much I would generate from there. But I would be no different from none of y'all. It would have been no different. No different. I would have been no different from any other alpha male. And there's no such thing as an alpha male. The only alpha male that's out there is fighting for his homeland right now in Africa. That's an alpha male to me. Okay? There's an alpha male and there's an alpha female. The alpha female takes care of her children without any complaints. That is an alpha female. When the alpha male and the alpha female get together, they know what to do without any complaints. To me, this is just a cry for help. Because right now, unless she gets the backing of not just Maxine Waters, not just for this person or that person, she's going to need the backing of at least 100,000 souls and possibly even more than that to get Trump out of office. She's going to need more than this to just get Trump out of office. We've seen plenty of black women like this, and no disrespect to her. She's a beautiful, intelligent woman, but we have seen plenty of this before, and where has it gone? That's all I'm saying. What more can she do? Let's continue.
So if y'all don't come together and understand we need to organize for the midterms right now, or at least yesterday, then we are going to continue to go down this road.
But now in this moment, he hit everybody. And quite frankly, as much as I hate to see the people who are standing in the way or trying to stand in the way of this happening suffer, not be able to get their benefits, not be able to get their care, whatever it is that they need, this is exactly what we needed in order to open your eyes.
So right now, all I can tell you is that we don't have the numbers. I'm going to do everything that I can to say the Democrats need to stand together and we need not give them anything. Because if they are not promising to do right by us, not to mention, even if we engage in negotiations, if he feels like he can just go ahead and take all the Democratic priorities out of whatever, then we also are going to be losing. So right now, I know everybody is panicked. I know everyone is upset, and I completely understand. All I can tell you is that hopefully we will have some judges, whether they are Democrats or Republican appointees, that will follow the law. This is very simple. What he is doing is lawless. He is lawless, and y'all decided that y'all wanted a thug in chief, and that's exactly what we got. We got somebody that showed y'all he don't have no respect for the law. He will continue to violate the law. He is violating the law. We will see if judges will continue to enable him to violate the law. I am sorry, y'all, because I'm running late, so I got to go in because my district, the ones that make sure that they hire me, and they are the only ones that can fire me, they are waiting on me to get inside so that we can go ahead and have our in-district swearing in. I promise y'all I'm going to do everything that I can to keep you abreast, but it is like drinking from a fire hose, and that is how they operate. They want us to feel the amount of chaos that we feel. They want us to feel like, you know what, all is lost, but we have been here before. We have had a civil rights movement, and we won that. we will win again if we just pull together. Stop letting them divide us. This isn't about whether or not you agree that Black people should have jobs, whether women should have jobs, whether you agree on reproductive access, whether you agree that those that are struggling should have access to food, whether you agree that those that are struggling should have access to childcare, whether you think our seniors should get Meals on Wheels and should be able to eat. It's not about whether or not you agree with any of that. And I would hope that we all agree with decency, but it seems like decency went out the window in this country.
Wait, so we just letting in the people who don't agree with all that? And this club just let anybody in now.
But you have to understand that if they can attack one of us, they can attack all of us. So stop letting them divide you over things like trans folk. Because guess what? Everybody that got upset about the trans folk, listen, that's now impacting whether or not you have food, or everybody that was convinced that the immigrants were taking the Black jobs, so to speak. But now we got people that aren't showing up to the farms. And now we have record prices when it comes to eggs. And now he wants to say, you know what, CDC, you're not allowed to send out information about things such as COVID-19, or FDA, you're not allowed to warn of the things that are going on in our food supply. Literally, people will die if we don't come together. It is time out for all the division. All we need is decency, and we need people that are really signing up to do the job for all American people and not looking out just for the billionaire few. All right, so I gotta go.
See, there's a slippery slope. There's a slippery slope there. We can come together if we put aside our differences of becoming trans people. Why do I have to put up with that? Why should I put up with that? I do not like it. I do not like it, and I will not stand for another grown-ass man acting like a woman touching my child. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to put up with a grown-ass woman acting like a grown-ass man, dressing up as a man, trying to trick my boy. I will not tolerate it. But yet, we have to negotiate. There's a problem with that. There is a real big problem in this country. But see what I mean when I say two wings of the same damn bird? I'd rather you build up your own shit. It's always this and it's always that. If I will give you $1 million, I will give you $2 million. Fuck that. I will give you 250. I will give you $250 million if you do this. And if you do this, you sign this contract. You gotta cut your hair. You gotta cut your hair. You gotta stay bald for 20 years. Even though you're going to catch pneumonia, you're going to catch the flu, you're going to catch every other single virus that's out there, we're willing to pay you. This is just a scenario. We're willing to pay you on this side. Oh, there's trans people. Oh, there's so many trans people around it. What difference does it make if your son is gay or not? The hell? Now I know why Umar got his dual citizenship. You know what? I know why Umar and 3,000-4,000 thousands of other people went over there to Ghana and got their dual citizenship. I know why now. I know why. Hell, if I had a passport, if I had the money, I'll probably do the exact same thing. America has gone nuts.
I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will do my best to stay on top of this.
Well, can y'all at least be decent? Okay, well, come on down then. I see where you landed the plane on that one, and I very much appreciate it. You mentioned something about the CDC, something that I think y'all might want to check out.
We begin with the state at the center of an unprecedented tuberculosis outbreak. Kansas is reporting the largest documented number of cases. Eva Pilgrim has the latest developments. And Eva, this is, of course, an ongoing situation, so there's concern that there could be more cases. Good morning.
That's exactly right, Robin. This is an active outbreak, and health officials expect there could be more cases. It is the most deadly infectious disease in the world, but it hasn't been a major concern here in the U.S. for many decades, until now.
This morning, health officials in Kansas are dealing with the largest documented outbreak of tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. Tuberculosis hadn't been an infectant for years. They used to treat me for tuberculosis, and it scared the shit out of me. But when I found tuberculosis is give you a little shot and you're on your way. Ugh. I don't know about now. I don't know about now, but it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Yeah. Well, at any rate, let's move forward. And I really wanted to get to this. I really wanted to get to. Actually, I could do that some other time. Something random came up and I wanted to discuss it. I was supposed to discuss it, last week. So
I can be there, right? But as a
what the fuck? Stop.
A lucky charm.
Hey guys, welcome.
This is nice.
Yeah.
Comrades.
Yeah.
Then they start calling each other by national speaker. Yeah, national spokesperson. It's an ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Abelungu have mastered the fact that you can just.
I wanted to review this for a very long time, and I wanted to also study one of the leaders of South Africa. I think his name is Julius Melma. I've been wanting to study this cat for a very long time. I mean, this cat keeps coming up in my feed all the time. So I really wanted to study him and see what he's all about. Let's continue.
Get into the ego of the blacks and create the select few gatekeepers, essentially. So for me, the politicians are gatekeepers for white capital monopoly, and it's not the answer. I think that we need to start thinking of civil organizations, right? And thinking of practical ways that we're going to sort things out on the ground. Like in the past, Abantu Abamnyama would have systems like ukulima. I remember how they would focus on one person's farm, then the next person's farm, then the next person's farm, or this one would give this one 2 sheep so that they breed, and then you bring back my sheep once you've bred, and that's how you grow. So we do need systems like that where we start thinking, okay, guys, how do we make this work for us? How do we build the things we need, our hospitals, our foods, these stokvels, it's actually going to be a grassroots thing. And if MK is also not speaking that language, then MK is not for us either. And what scares me about MK is that they fall into the same trap of falling into parliament, and suddenly their voice is a bit.
Yeah. Posh English now.
Yeah. It's a bit stifled. You're not quite hearing the land debates so robustly anymore, So I think that it's dangerous. Politics are dangerous in that they facilitate the buying of the good blacks.
Was the EFF ever a solution?
The EFF was brilliant, except that
was.
Okay. I think it was destroyed by Julius's ego. I think if Julius had someone who could take him on, Julius was surrounded by yes men. And the danger with being surrounded by yes men is that even if you're stupid, the yes men are going to follow you into your stupid revolution. So if he had had people that could take him on and who could challenge him, it would have been more powerful. It could have been the thing. But once you, it's the same thing that I'm scared for MK with Zuma. Once you center it on one person, then the flaws of that person become the party.
The identity
Bon.
of the revolution.
Bo. So Julius, even back then, would swear at people. He would had a very vulgar way of expression. And that's what we're seeing on social media now with the fighters, is that's all they know how to be, just vulgar. So you do need a balance.
There is a break from politics a bit. There is okay, everything is politics, but
Exactly.
Life is politics.
Exactly.
The story is that because of Julius's influence, that Elon Musk took it upon himself to call him out on X. Elon Musk should really just shut the fuck up. in my personal opinion, he should just really shut the fuck up, because I'm just about sick and tired of just hearing his whining or whatever. Just continuously make your Teslas or whatever that don't even hardly work anymore, and just shut up. Just shut the fuck all the way up. Trump too, but Trump, that's your boy. I mean, you're literally gonna kiss your ass because you want to be actually irrelevant, which really you're not. There is no influence towards all this. You want to be the only one that is. Well, you're a millionaire, but you want to be in that billionaire status. I get it. I totally get it. So we're going to get into the why. Let me see. We're going to get into the why real quick. If this... No, that wasn't it. Give me a second. Just give me a second, because I don't want to. Let me see. The white people are dumb. They just don't want to tell. They just don't want to. Black people. Black boys and black girls grow up with the most intelligence in the world. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Grow up with the most intelligence. That's why they get the less education. But I am going to find a video that I need to be searching for. Let's see. Is that it? I mean, we should be studying the leaders over there anyway. We should definitely be studying the leaders over there anyway. And if you're in support of Elon Musk, the next Hitler, does anybody remember that little salute that he did? Oh, y'all forgot about that. Okay. Y'all forgot about that salute. Let's see. Here does Elon Musk. I cannot. Let me see. Let me see. Look up Julian Musk again. Julian Musk kill the Boston. I think this is got it. So this is what I'm going to play a little clip on one of the reasons why, and I'm gonna get back to this as well. I'm gonna play a little bit of clip of why what Elon Musk was tripping over, and so what his white predecessors were tripping over.
Come on, sir. Hule, kita, kila man. Hirwata, tamarumo, hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there? So far, skitchy. So far, skitchy. Etatin, kichima. Simran Konto Alliance. Shoot to kill. Kamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa. Brr, pa.
Where did it say anything about killing the white man? Unless I'm dumb, where did he say anything about killing the white man? That's what I heard from this scumbag. Where did I hear it? Where?
Attention.
Let's play it again.
Killer man. Hirwata, tamarumo, hasicha. Where were you when I'm sick? Where were you when I'm there? So far, skitchy. So far, skitchy. Etatin, kichima. Simran Konto Alliance. Shoot to kill. Kamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa. Brr, pa. Attention.
Now that is an alpha. So don't you come to me no more talking about no fucking alpha. Just don't come to me with that shit. Come to me when you could get 100 men and 100 women singing your song, not praising, my bad, singing your songs, submitting to you. Ashe.
Because a lot of what happens online represents how we are living. It seems to be unfolding online a lot, where it's like feminists are hated, but there is a group that loves feminists so much. Men feel victimized by feminists. Men feel like my voice is not heard. I mean, I recently had Sizam Jalose on the show, who's being denied access to his child by the baby mama, and he feels like courts are disadvantaging him. Even online, people are not on his side. Do you see this gender war happening, and can you feel it? And do we have a solution?
I think that is created by the breaking down of our family units, which came with this, Remember, our biggest thing as Black people, our biggest problem is that the family unit has been broken. So, men and women, you're correctly saying, we're not getting along. We're not building together. We're destroying. So, there is an element of, because of the toxic masculinity and patriarchy that West came with, because a lot of these ideas came Nabelung. A lot of our destruction as Abantu Bamnyama came because Abelung came with these new ideas. I mean, even about porn and stuff. We didn't do porn and stuff. Into Zabelung lezo, you know, and sexualizing people. We as Black women used to be able to walk around bare-breasted, sit sharp without you guys harassing us. But now here is this new thinking that came that suddenly sexualized us and taught you guys how to be predators, basically. And then the system came and said, yeah, look at the Black woman. She's so weak. She's submissive. She doesn't have a voice. And it actually wasn't the case. It actually wasn't the case. Women in relationships, we do submit for people we love.
Ooh. So you do submit to people who are already in relationships. And so we're still in 2025 bitching and moaning and bitching about women not being submissive enough to go about the plans of the man that they are with. And still to this day, people are still bitching and moaning about that. Am I getting that right? Am I getting that right, Lisa? Am I getting that right? Are we a bunch of crybabies? Well, not me. I'm perfectly fine. But are we, as men, a bunch of crybabies? Should we be called trolls? Or I don't know. What would you call it?
And it was disgusting that Abelungu weaponized that against us. We do. Like, Masimtand Mundu, like, your king is your king.
Yeah.
As a king is your,
Yeah.
and it's like, that's my king.
Yeah.
And you treat him like it, and it feels nice for us.
Sure.
But here's this Western gaze that came and said, oh, why are you groveling to men? And for us, it worked because what? You know what? My king goes out there and makes money for me. And obviously, I'm going to grovel for my king because he is for my well-being. I'm here because he is, and he is because I am. So it's this white point of view that came into how we do. Then the system was like, oh, look at polygamy. The men are sluts. Oh my God. And look how they just treat the women. And to be honest with you, now I'm in my 40s. Like, there is nothing wrong with polygamy. Like, there's a part of me, I don't want a man all the time. Also, like, you know, and so it wouldn't, it's for us, for some of us, it's not such a big thing. There isn't a thing.
I draw the line. Somewhat, I have to draw that line. There's nothing wrong with polygamy. I will say this. And this is where I wanted to do a little debating with a friend of mine, Trev, which should be debating pretty soon. I don't. There's nothing wrong with a little, you know, because again, there are a lot of people who will stress that there are more men, there are more females, there are more women than men on this planet. And they will also stress that instead of just lying to oneself and lying to your mate, you would go on and you would actually ask the person that you're already with if she wouldn't mind being down for a little, you know, another her. And Trust me, females do the exact same thing. Not for me. Again, not for me. I believe one man and one woman. One man, one woman, one family. And that's one headache. I don't want to. I mean, it sounds fun. It sounds nice. I mean, Neo, the singer, he is married. Yes, he is married to two women instead of one woman because he found it, and it's not here in the United States because the United States is illegal. But he's married. He went overseas to get married legally to two beautiful mates. Beautiful mates. I mean, they're wonderful. And he is straight. He is fucking straight. She said, not me. I'm not sharing my man. Well, hey, look. Hey, look. That's to each his own. I would just say, ain't nothing wrong with it. I don't do none of that. I mean, maybe if I was in my 20s and then I had a little bit of money in my pocket, I probably would consider it if I was in my 20s. But I'm in my 40s, so none of that means anything to me. So to each his own. To each his own.
Thing where only me, I must only. It's not like that for everybody, and essentially polygamy made sure that everybody, all the women are sorted out. It's cool, and it was open. Now we've got a situation where it's cheating and I'm so hurt. But these are all constructs, social constructs that came Nabelung, which he's cheating on you. See, now before it wasn't, it's like, okay, that's my sister wife, I get on with my things here. Now it's like it's called cheating and it's a bad thing, and
cheating is a social construct.
There's
no such thing as cheating.
Who did God say that men and women must be married and sign papers? Is that a divine? Is that just like how we breathe and how we need water, right? Do we need marriage and papers? No, we created that.
I want Bible. Lisa, I want you to go get me that Bible. Where does it say that it was wrong in the Bible for one man to have one woman, to have multiple women? Excuse me. I want Bible. I want Bible. I love Geno Jenkins. It does actually say in the biblical text that Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. 700 wives and 300 concubines. Do I have to give you the definition of a concubine? Concubine, you're another man's helpmate or another man's wife. Sheesh. If a man has all that power, and this is in the biblical text. This is not fake. This is not fake. This is biblical. Solomon was a proud man. Boy, he had all them lined up. I guess people are trying to be Solomon, or people are trying to be like Nebuchadnezzar in that form of whatever. But I mean, does it help anyone at this day and age? No. Unless you have millions and millions of dollars in the bank, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you because you only have one heart. And when that heart fades, that's your ass.
We created that. So there is no law around what kind of marriage you can have. That's why when we stress about the LGBTQI, it's like, it's none of your business, guys. In African culture, we never got into who is sleeping with who. It's none of our business. We don't care. And in African culture, actually, women could also have multiple partners. Men could both. It was like, my body is it's here, it exists. Obviously, not too much because you get sick. And that's it. Too much of anything makes you sick. But there's no confined thing. You're not going to drop dead. God is not going to strike you with lightning because you've married two people. So marriage is a social construct. We made it up.
How do we deconstruct?
That's why we keep going back to izinto zesintu now.
Okay,
That's why
okay.
we were starting to be like, guys, who were we before Abedulu came?
yeah.
Because that thing was working for us.
Yeah.
We had huge civilizations. Our women were happy. Our men were happy. We were not fighting. Our children could walk around naked around men.
And not feel like they'll be violated or the chance of being violated. Yeah.
So how did we create those men before? What has contaminated the African
man?
Yeah. And can we start taking those things away? Can we start taking those things away? So for me, it's just like, yeah, guys, let's figure out who we were before, because what we've been taught by Abelungu taught us utwala, they taught us porn, they taught us these things that divide the male and the female energy.
Yeah.
You know, let's go back to how we used to engage together.
How do we return there?
It's these conversations. It's these exact conversations.
Alternative voices.
Yes. And then we start having organizations and movements where it's like, as Tina saw, we start going back to eating proper food, because even the food that Abelungu are selling us, it's killing us. It's giving us body prostate cancer. We didn't have these issues before, guys.
Yeah.
We ate from the ground. We were, organic. So now we have to acknowledge the fact that Islungu has damaged us.
I'll be a devil's advocate and say that there is an element of good that westernization has helped us with in certain areas, perhaps where we had blind spots as African people, because as humans we're not perfect. And somebody's consuming this and saying, Unsigi is just blaming everything on whiteness, like as if Black people just got dominated and they didn't have brains of their own to retaliate. Why do you keep on blaming everything on whiteness? Can't we internalize our own issues and fix things from within?
I think that have we as Black people ever colonized and invaded? Well, okay, in Europe many years ago, yes, we were running things. But what we need to consider is that the Black man is the first man. We are the original human being. So every single race learned everything from us. We are the original civilizers across the board. The Black man comes from millions of years ago. Abelungu start popping up around 700, 800 AD. So as the original race, we are the parent race. So now back to why we're like this. We have never taken Abelungu and taken guns and prisons and beat them to submission, which is something that they did to us, which has been internalized and it's in our psychology. We've been beaten to submission. So if there's anything to own up to as Black people is that, hey, actually it worked. And now how do we fix this? But denying which it happened is not going to help us. We didn't have guns, guys. They came.
In other words, what she is saying is, we of course got to take the good and the bad with everything. We were the first enslavers. We were the first people here, but we were the first enslavers. We enslaved our colonizers because they came upon us and they started infiltrating. So we enslaved them. But the one dangerous thing that we regret to this very day, and you can get with Taj Tariq Bey on this one. Shouts out to Taj Tariq Bey. We taught them how to feed yourself. We fed them. We taught them how to bathe themselves. We've taught them everything else but how to, we basically taught them everything, right? This is the reason why she says that all civilizations have learned from us, the Africa people. Now, what became the great equalizer? The gun. We didn't have guns. Somehow, some way, they had guns. Somehow, some way, we were, or our ancestors were sold into slavery. Sold into slavery by us. There were many tribes back then. So if you watch the videos like Shaka Zulu and the Woman King, you will get a snippet or a notion of how our ancestors were sold into slavery. If anybody had paid attention, everybody thought that the Woman King was a piece of shit and everything whoopty-whoopty-woo. It wasn't the case like that. Some people need to study that for themselves. Some people need to actually have a serious sit down and actually have study. But people think this is a Woman King and the woman was taking over. They had to take orders from somebody. And the person that they took orders from was from a man. But you had like a general, a chief or whatever who led the charge, and that was a woman. But you had males fighting with the women over territory, over product, over whatever they had to fight for. I saw nothing wrong with that show. But you got cats to just act ignorant like that. But let's continue.
Came with guns, Bastubula. You remember, you've seen the footage from even apartheid era, and it didn't even start then. It started back then. They moved us from our land, the Land Acts. It was violent. What happened to Black people? We are a victim of violence. And we need to acknowledge that and acknowledge there's a healing process that needs to happen because we've been through a lot. But pretending as if Abelunga Benzanga Nix is Kawata, that thing. Yeah, and it's part of the problem because we're still sucking up to our abusers. So, yeah.
As we near the end of our conversation, I've got this. If what do you fully believe in is our solution as Black people to take back South Africa?
You know, it's not even about Black people. The thing is that it's about Ubuntu, you know, because Tina, we're not a violent people.
We will share.
We will share.
Okay.
We will share. We're not a people that's why they're getting away with so much, because we are not a violent people. So just going back to the principles of Ubuntu and moving away from the individualism that came in Abelung. Abelung taught us me, I, single marriage, me, I. Let's move away from the me, I. Now we start working as we, as a collective, as we did in the past.
Yeah. Sister, thank you so much for the privilege of indulging me in your politics, because would you agree that you're misunderstood a lot?
Yeah.
Ne?
Yeah.
Are you okay with being misunderstood?
You know, it's got its stressful moments. In the heat of the moment, it can be quite it can drain me. But I've come to understand that this is part of my life purpose. So, and a truth teller, it's not, somebody even tweeted yesterday, they were like, please don't be upset at us because you're waking us up, and nobody likes to be woken up.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But some people feel that they are woken up and they feel the need to spread their wings and try to make some sense of all of what's going on. But not everybody is woke. And by the way, that word woke has been used too frequently as of late. My question is, what is the purpose of being woke? What is your purpose? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of being woke? If it's not the right purpose, then you're not woke. If it's not the right purpose, you are not woke. So stay asleep. Because you can't be on one side and yet be on the other side. And there is no middle. You're either over here or you're over here. The same with Umar. You're either on the boat or you're off the boat. To be on code. What is on code? What is on code? We use that frequently as well. Negroes want to be on code all the time. Some, it works for others. Others, everybody has loose lips. It's just like I said before. Either you're on the boat or you're off the boat. You gotta pick a side. Ain't no in between. Like I'm an NFL block. I'm an NFL blocker. I'm a center, but I want to be in between where the ball is, and I'm just gonna let the defensive player smack the shit out of my offensive player. But then I want to run and say, whoa, you can't, nah. You either be on the offensive side or you're going to be on the defensive side. Ain't no men being in between. Ain't no motherfucking in between. If I catch anybody doing that shit, I'm going to put you off the boat. I'm going to kick you off the boat my goddamn self. Regardless of circumstance. There are too many of us that get caught up in some bullshit, like William O'Neill, who was on both sides of the spectrum. He got paid to be on the Black Panther Party and was infiltrating, gave the FBI plans and everything, and then moved in on Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton was 21 when he got murdered. A 21-year-old man who wanted to do nothing but bring providence, justice, healing, food, water. And they killed him just like they killed Marcus Garvey. Just like they killed Marcus Garvey. I agree. I do agree. Some things are even cringeworthy, you know. On code doesn't have a leader. But But like I said, there are people who have loose lips. There are people out there who have loose lips. There are people out there who loose lips, and I'm gonna tell you like this. It's like I said before. Anybody who is not on the side of the woman, you don't have to be on that side. You don't have to be on that side. You don't have to be on the side of Julian. You don't have to be on that side. Just don't let me catch you saying one thing and then totally saying another. No, keep that same energy, fam. Keep that same energy. We don't want none of that bullshit that you trying to pull. Keep that same energy. If you said he ain't gonna come out with something, then that's fine. That's just great. Keep that same energy. I would rather you be on the side of bullshit than you coming over here sniffing. Just if he were to come out with the school, right? Let's just say he came out with the school tomorrow. And then you want to jump your little bow-legged ass on him. Nah, dude. What was you doing over here again? Eat a dick, bitch. Get your motherfucking ass back over to the other side. Weren't you that same motherfucker that was talking all that bullshit that he wasn't going to come out with the school and everything, and he got the school already open, all of a sudden you want to jump your little bow-legged bitch ass on? Nah, get your motherfucking ass back on the other side, bro. Before I make you go over that side. And it's like that. We are not playing anymore when it comes to certain people, certain leaders. And these dudes that call themselves alpha males, where are these alpha males at? I would like to know, where are these alpha males at? Where are they at? It took on one podcast, it took 1, 2, 3, 4 men to tackle one woman. 4 men to tackle one woman on one podcast. 4. Finally, one gave up and said, "You know what, fam, it ain't gonna work, because they're not agreeing with you saying, fam, and they're going with the same old, well, this man is supposed to be your leader, and you ain't following it." And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? And it was supposed to, and people are saying we're afraid to follow Kamala Harris, and this is the reason why you're in the position that you're in right now. I didn't vote for none of them. People are still coming at me to this very day. We're supposed to look at this position that we're in. This is your fault because you voted for Donald Trump. No, I did not. I say again, no, I did not vote for Donald Trump. No, I did not. Codified as 21% of black men and 8% of black women who criticize the mass of black voters crashed the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris lost the election. I don't give a fuck. Because again, I voted for 0. I voted for my legislators. My local legislators, my vocal mayors, and all that other shit. I voted for the principals and the teachers over here. I wanted 0 to do with the nationalities of this country, the nations of the national, not international. I wanted to vote for none of those motherfuckers from the international for this country, unless it was like Cory Bookham or something. If Nat Turner, if Nat Turner were alive, well, let's not go that far. Let's go here. If Dr. Khalil Muhammad were here, if Dr. Khalil Muhammad were alive to this day, stamp approved. Stamp approved. You have my vote, sir. You have my vote. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Trump is doing a great job because he is keeping all of his campaign promises. Not everything. Not everything. Let's see what kind of promises that he keeps with them groceries, sir. Let's see what type of promises he keeps with them groceries. Lisa, you got one. You got one, Lisa. You got one. Of course, everybody's so shocked and surprised that he signed 29 consecutive orders in one day. Everybody thought, why are y'all so surprised for? Why are y'all so shocked? He said it 20 days before that. Why is everybody so shocked? I agree with Trump's immigration policies and cutting off economic aid to Africa. Well, let me say this. I don't like it when he's fucking with Africa. Africa don't need that aid anyway. They're rich in their own right. They're rich in their own right. So what the fuck did they need aid from the United States anyway? They are rich in their own right. That is crazy. This world is gone nuts. Whoa. I already said that's the exact same thing that I said. I said he hasn't made good on that food shortage, but food costs. Let's see what he does. It's still early. It's February. Let's see what he does. People, we got 2 years. Let's see what he does. Donald is nothing but a liar, cheat, and a convicted felon. But yet he can get away with any and everything that he wants at this very moment. Because as you stated, he has the what? The backing of the Supreme Court, which has never, ever benefited from black people. Has never benefited from black people. And you got a black man and a Mexican. Clarence Thomas has never benefited from black men. And I'm so sad to say he's a former Black Panther. I am so sad. It is so sad. He doesn't have to go after the elderly. You don't understand it, Lisa. He don't give a fuck. It's money at the end of the day. At the end of the day, It's all about money. If you have resources, he wants it. If you have Social Security, he wants it. I would play, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to get dinged anyway. I'm going to get dinged for this, but I'm going to try to just play the audio of it in hopes of, me not getting, whatever. Let me see. Give me just one. Hold on. Let me see if I can actually find this fucker. Let's see. Not your all the disease. No, we don't want to do that. There's a reason why education's. Let me see. Let me see. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Okay, cool. Found it. All right, cool. I did find it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little snippet of, well, before then, I want to see what y'all arguing about in the chat. Most African countries are in chaos and supremely poor with government corruption and you mean colonizers? In fighting not to be colonized by China, Europeans, and Arabs. That's why they're doing this. You think that it's worth? You think that it won't affect you? It will affect you. If Africa goes, so does your black ass. Please excuse me, I meant Africa has been colonized by Europeans, Africans. Yeah, of course. But this is the reason why I support this. This is the reason why the African leaders over there are finding ways to take back Africa one country at a time. One country at a time, taking back the farmlands one day at a time. One day at a time. But let me not get caught up, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this baby to bed. And I want to thank everybody for following and supporting. Go ahead, support the We-On-Loc Nation. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And I possibly might be back tomorrow. You never know. If I'm not doing anything, I'll let you know by a click of the button. All you have to do is you'll get the notification. You'll get the notification if you go ahead and click that subscribe button. And I do definitely appreciate you. I do appreciate you, fam. I don't see it. You'll get to see it in a minute. I gotta cover it somehow. Oh, Okay, here we go. I think I'm going to use this. No, I can't use that one. Can I use this one? Nope, I can't use that one either. So let me see what I can use. Oh, I know what I can use this definitely. Thank you for your support. So thank you for your support. Definitely appreciate you. And here we go, fam.
Folks, not too fucking bright. But if you talk to one of them about this, if you isolate one of them, you sit them down rationally, and you talk to them about the low IQs and the dumb behavior and the bad decisions, right away they start talking about education. That's the big answer to everything. Education. They say we need more money for education. We need more books, more teachers, more classrooms, more schools. We need more testing for the kids. You say to them, well, you know, we've tried all of that, and the kids still can't pass the tests. So don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. And that's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. Got a pencil? Get the fuck in there, it's physics. Then everyone wonders why 17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do. Education. Politicians know that word. They use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind 3 things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind. Someone's losing fucking ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hardworking people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hardworking people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep